Hi, welcome to What Are You Reading? A podcast with the Public Library of Mount Vernon in Knox County. My name is Christie.
And I'm Katie.
And this month we decided to pick poetry.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't done it in a little while. And, to celebrate poetry, and especially here in the month of April, we both decided to kind of, just dig through the stacks and see what we could find.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's the best way to do it. Just come into the library and start looking.
Mm-hmm.
And I had no direction whatsoever in picking.
Mm-mm.
Just kind of whatever jumped out at me.
Yeah. Same.
And learn something later after I read it. So
Yep.
This month I chose To Drink Coffee with a Ghost by Amanda Lovelace. So, of course, the cover and title grabbed me right away. The cover has this beautiful clump of fall leaves with a Ouija board planchette directly in the center.
Mm-hmm.
And on the back of the cover, there's actually a coffee stain ring.
Oh, cool.
Which I thought was super cool. And so I love spooky things. I love dark things. So I, of course, picked this one up right away.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say that there is a trigger warning. I want to trigger warn you guys for this episode of the podcast, in that I will be discussing grief, loss of a parent, that kind of thing. So just wanted to let you know, if that's not something you're comfortable with, please feel free to skip ahead to Katie's book. Oh, what title did you pick?
So I picked Call Us What We Carry by Amanda Gorman. And I picked it because, pretty blue cover. And I had heard of Amanda Gorman, and I couldn't remember why.
Yeah.
And she is actually the poet who, she was the inaugural poet for Joe Biden.
Oh, wow.
So her, and I wouldn't say trigger warning, but just something to be aware of with mine is she does deal with aspects of race. So in a pretty positive way, but if that's something that you're ultra sensitive to, maybe not this one.
Understandable, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I love your
yes, I have.
So cute.
I have little puppy dog.
So cute.
Tabbies.
Well, I did make some selections, and there was one specifically that I did want to share a little bit of and kind of go into detail. So, To Drink Coffee with Ghosts does deal with the loss of Amanda's mother.
Okay.
So it is broken down into 3 sections. There is Ghost Mother, Ghost Daughter, and then Sun Showers.
Okay.
And I lost my father when I was 14. And so there's a lot that resonated with me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot that is gender specific to losing a mother.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also a lot that anyone who's lost a parent can connect with in this. And the one that I really wanted to share deals with grief. And this one begins, "The only way I found relief in this grieving was to plant gravestones everywhere my feet treaded. The first time they leaned in to kiss me, I hesitated. They were far too perfect, far too alive to become a haunted, hunted thing like I was. Selfishly, I kissed them anyway." And I have never read something that resonated so much with my experience, especially as a teen who is meeting, a love interest for the first time, and how it feels to feel like you don't want to bring that person into your darkness, and how you feel like afraid to connect with someone because of that exact thing. Like, I was haunted. I was hunted by my grief. Every day was a struggle to wake up, to get out of bed, to do the normal things that a teen does. And to bring someone into that felt so, as she says, selfishly. I kissed them anyway. It did. It felt selfish. And that was not something that, thank goodness, I don't wish that on my worst enemy. But that's something that luckily most teens and children do not have to deal with, in hopes. So especially in my small, tiny town, where people were very lucky, it was something that I didn't have a lot of people around me that could understand. So Amanda's words, like this really, there were some tears. I mean, it was it was really tough, but it was amazing to read that and experience it. So the last section of the book, The Sun Showers, was so phenomenal. You see Amanda go from the loss of her mother and dealing with the immediate impact to the initial grieving process where you're, going through all the steps and you're bargaining with yourself. And you have those days where you're saying, I wish you would go away. I wish the memory of you was gone. I wish that this wasn't hanging over me. And then the days where you feel guilty for even having those thoughts to then this final chapter of acceptance. The grief is still there, but it is not as omnipresent as it once was. And it comes back in these like little waves or these like little drops of, just brief glances that like it nicks you, it's like a bullet whizzing by and it's there for a moment and then it's gone and you're able to continue on with your day. So it really took me on a journey and I'm grateful for that. I'm not always willing to I'm 42 years old, if that tells you anything. I'm not always willing still to go back to, to things like this, but I'm glad I did, and there's so many poems in this that I, wrote down, and I'm definitely going to be adding this book to my personal collection. So we have it at the library, but I'm going to buy a copy for my shelf just so that I can connect with someone who, honestly, I'm so surprised that it resonated with me as much as it did. So I loved it. So happy.
Yeah, so I was going to say, would you read another book by her? But since you're going to buy that one, I would say probably yes. Then.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I only have a few marked here because they were the ones that I felt comfortable sharing. But there are a lot more in here that I thought, okay, this is a poet that I want to learn more about her. I want to read more of her work and see where this journey takes us together. Yeah, so cool. It was very impactful read, guys.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say, poetry is very intimidating to people.
Yeah.
A lot of poets nowadays, like Amanda, they're very easy to get.
Yeah.
You don't have to, get a thesaurus or get, a history book to be like, okay, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
It's just very emotionally driven and easy to understand.
Yeah.
So she might be a good gateway poet if you haven't, if you're not really a poetry person.
I would totally agree with that. You have a lot more experience with poetry than I do. And I had, asked Katie, what you thought, if you had any suggestions when we decided to do poetry for the podcast. And this was someone that you were familiar with. So that helped tremendously. And mentioning that to me because, it can be really intimidating to us non-poetry folks. But, super easy to read and understand. 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. So far, I recommend her work.
Yeah, nice. She doesn't always talk about parental death, but she does talk about breakups a lot. So a lot of that being in your feels, kind of writing.
Definitely in my feels about it.
Yeah.
I even have a playlist on Spotify of songs where I was in my feels, and Katie, we're friends outside of work and everything, so she had listened to it too and was like, oh, you were really in your feels about it. Oh yeah, I was going through
it. Are you okay?
Yeah, exactly. I'm still here, we're good.
Oh shoot,
tell us a little bit about your pick.
Okay, so hers are, she, I would say, has a lot of elements of somewhat traditional poetry, but you still but she also like turns it on its head, which is really interesting. A lot of these tabbies are because, okay, let me back up. Let me back up a bit. We have the physical copy, and we also have the audiobook on Libby. I recommend doing both at the same time.
Okay.
I had started reading it, and then I just wasn't having time to do it, so I listened to it. Amanda Gorman reads it, which is especially helpful in poetry because you know the pause, like how long the pauses were, or you could get her intention without being like, well, how long is that? But having the physical copy is great too because she has some like concrete poetry.
Neat.
Where like for those of you who are just listening, she has one that's called Essex 1 that it's the shape of a whale.
Wow.
So the words are actually in the shape of the whale.
That's cool.
Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
She uses quotes. This one has Vuong from On Earth We Are Briefly Gorgeous.
Wow.
Quoted in here. She also uses like literature and historical events. So for those of you who've been following us for a really long time, thank you.
Yes.
And one summer, was it Tales and Tales?
Yes.
That we did Moby Dick?
Yep, it was.
There's, she talks about the historical things that created, that eventually became the book Moby Dick. So that's one of the themes that's kind of in there.
Wow.
So that's what, and she's even got one that's kind of set up like a news article.
Oh, yeah, that's neat.
Or she has these. There's a. I don't know if this is all one or if it's.
Oh my gosh.
Where she actually took from World War I. There was an African American soldier named Roy Underwood Plummer who wrote a journal during his experiences in World War I. So she takes his like journals, which this is probably like reproduced, but it looks like
that is so cool.
So she takes bits of his journals and then adds her like spin and things on it so that it creates one like cohesive whole.
It's almost like mixed media in the art
world. It
is
very mixed media. So, and then later on we've got one that's kind of set up like a play.
Oh, that's really cool.
So she's got some really great lines in here. She plays around with words. It's really interesting. There's one in here that she took words from, she calls them erasure poems. So kind of like blackout poetry, but where she takes a written piece of something and then basically just takes the words she wants to use.
Okay.
And one of them that's in here was actually taken from the AIDS quilt, where people had like their, I think they wrote about their loved ones in patches, and then they sewed all the patches together to make a quilt.
Yeah.
Which she has the information in here, specifically about like how big the quilt is and all of that. So
I just noticed that the cover looks like torn pages, torn paper.
Yes, but it also looks like water.
It does.
So like the ocean.
It's really interesting.
So yeah, it's really interesting. And I think the last one that's in here is the poem that she read for the inauguration.
Oh, that's really neat.
Because it did sound, The Hill We Climb, which I think might have made the rounds in social media when Biden was inaugurated. this also deals a lot with COVID.
Mm.
Not so much in the people dying, things of that nature, but the disconnection that we all felt because we all had to shelter in place.
Mm-hmm.
And how that has a big effect on everyone. So that was interesting as well.
Mm-hmm.
So she deals with a lot. It's very interesting, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to it for many different reasons. So I too would 10 out of 10 recommend. If for no other reasons, the Easter eggs that are in it.
Yeah.
Which Christie and I were talking about earlier with a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always fun when you can make connections to the real world.
Yeah, absolutely.
With what you read.
It definitely helps ground, and like you mentioned earlier about being approachable,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely helps to ground you and make you want to stick around and figure it out, even if you're having like a little bit of a hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Those Easter eggs can kind of keep you hunting, if you will.
Yep. And already you're kind of on her side because you're like, oh yeah, I remember.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I remember not being able to go outside for 6 weeks.
Exactly. It's crazy to believe that was already 5 years ago.
I know. It's
6
crazy.
years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, but this was actually written before the end of COVID.
Sure.
So she kind of has that. There's a little bit of finality in it, but not the like, we can get on about our days now.
Sure. We haven't moved on yet.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd say this was like a great month, even though heavy subject matter, still really thoughtful, thought-provoking, introspective, and a great way to kind of get ready to move into those new beginnings of like spring, and we're moving into summertime. So guys, be on the lookout because we're going to have some great summer reading program content coming your way. Next month we're moving into May, so we'll have some fun summer reads and some uplifting stuff. We won't be in the trenches forever. So believe it or not.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will see you next month. Bye.
Bye.